When we purchased our Lance 2185 travel trailer, it came with this lock upgrade already on it, which is from rvlock.com. And it's been really nice to have a combination code that we can use to get in and out rather than keeping track of keys, especially because we have kids and sometimes they want to get into the trailer and we are not conveniently around with the keys. Well, this summer the lock has begun to degrade, especially where the lock and unlock buttons are here and here. It's just fallen apart. This outer covering got too brittle from the UV rays and it's not looking good anymore. And I don't know if this is going to compromise it in the long-term functionality wise because of water getting inside. Right now this still technically works. It just doesn't look good, and also it's starting to reveal what code we've been using because of, you can at least see the numbers that have been involved in the code because it's cracking where we've been using those numbers. So when Ristow reached out to me and offered for us to evaluate their RV lock system, which you can see over here is also a number combination lock, pretty similar, I jumped on the opportunity to go ahead and try it out. So in today's video, I'm going to unbox this and we'll get it installed and see how well it works. So first off, what does it come with? So it comes with the owner's manual and installation guide. And then here we have some more information about Ristow, I guess, as a company and their warranty information. This is a tool, and it looks like at this end, yeah, it has a small tipped Phillips head, and then at the other end it comes with an even smaller tipped Phillips head. So I assume that's going to come in handy with the lock. I haven't checked that out yet, so we'll find out. This is the lock itself. On the side of it, it has the keys, of which it looks like it came with 4 keys, and then also has a door seal plate in case that's needed. And then it has a bunch of screws. Oh, there's another door seal plate in there as well. So we'll check that out when we get into the installation. And it comes with its own batteries, which is cool. In our old lock, I use rechargeable batteries because we change them out about every 6 months. So when these run out, then I'll switch it to rechargeable as well. And then this is the lock itself. And it is fairly heavy. It's substantial in its weight. And so I guess that hopefully means it's really sturdy here in the locking mechanism especially. And then here's the handle. And then also on the back side of it, it comes with 2 wireless key fobs here in these boxes. And the batteries for those are tucked up here in the foam. So there's one right there and then another one right here. So it comes with batteries for the key fobs and the lock, which is nice. So I'm going to read through the instructions and then get installing this. The first thing I need to do, of course, is remove the old RV lock, which if we look here on the back side of it, you can see it just has some regular Phillips screws here. Looks like there's 4 of them on this side. So I'm going to take those off and we'll see how easily this old one comes off. After unscrewing those 4 screws, you can see the inside plate came off simply, and there's a communication cable right here that has a simple clasp on the back side. So you can just press right here and then pull down, and it's a little bit harder with one hand, but that comes apart pretty easily. The next thing to do is remove the 2 screws here on the end of this plate, and you can see that ties into the base device in the back. And so now that this plate is off on this face, it's loose now, and you can see here on the back side that there's a little bit of difficult clearance here because the lock is still going through the slot back here on the face, but you can get it out. It got in somehow, right? And that's the empty cavity that we're going to put the new RV lock in now. Installation of the new one requires undoing these 4 seams screws that are on this new lock so that we can have it split apart, of course, to put it back into the door. With those 4 screws disconnected, you can see the back comes off easily now, and here's that communication wire. You can see it's a slightly different design in this case. It's not a mid clamp, but it's a plug that goes into the base unit here. But with a little bit of a tug, that pops out, and now we've separated the 2 halves. But before we install this, I wanted to point out something I just noticed. If you look at the old lock here, you can see this is hard plastic right here, and the weatherproofing seal is right along this outside edge. It's very thin, maybe 1/4 of an inch, and it looks like it was starting to slide off of the edge actually, so it's pretty ineffective. And you can see there was some dust ingress here. And looking around the whole perimeter, yeah, it was kind of moving around a little bit. And overall, in the original design, it wasn't very thick. Over here on the Ristow lock, it actually is interesting to see that this entire pad here is the weather seal, and you can see it is way thicker. Now granted, this one hasn't been clamped and squished for the last several years like this one has, but I can't imagine that this one was very thick in the beginning, at least nothing near this, how thick this is. So that will make a really nice seal on the outside of the RV to make sure water does not come in. Slipping this outside unit into the existing hole here, this silver post there sticking out was a little tricky getting in, but I got past that pretty quick. But then I got stuck here on the corner. You can see that the hole that is on the outside here of this RV door is more rounded here at the bottom. You can see it's more of a square hole up here. It's still a little bit rounded. But down here, they kind of cut corners when they cut it out, which is, well, they were cutting corners, yes, but they didn't do a very good job. And so, yeah, it won't go on. So I'm going to go get a file, and I'm going to make this more of a square corner rather than this kind of random elongated corner that they made. Now you can see I have filed down that corner nicely, and I can put the lock right here, and you can see that the post slips right in nicely. The corner now slides right in, and it's perfect. So that was a really simple little modification to make that work better. And now I'm going to put this end plate on the end of the door. These screws on the end are now installed. The only tricky thing is that because this weatherproofing was so thick over here, I had to put some pressure in this direction, pressing in from the outside to get these holes to line up. But other than that, it was pretty simple to put those in. Now I'm going to put this back plate on, but first I have to plug this plug in here and then just slide it on, and I'll put those 4 same screws on. I have finished installing the inside plate. I still need to put the batteries in it, but you can see that the bolt works just fine. And notice that the door does come locked, so don't just slam it shut at this point if your keys are inside. So just to make sure I don't do that, I'm going to go ahead and unlock this, and now you can see the bolt mechanism there moving just fine. So now I need to read the instructions about getting everything programmed, getting our code programmed in, and I need to get the batteries installed. But that's pretty much all there is to do for the physical installation of it. It was very simple. This is where the screwdriver is handy to have around. You can see I've been using a power drill for the other ones, but this one, the hatch for the batteries is smaller, and the screwdriver that they send with it works perfectly. So, I mean, obviously you don't need that if you have your own screw set, but they do send one that works for that, so that's nice. I finished installing the batteries in that device, and now what I'm going to do is install the batteries that came for the key fobs. This is what the key fobs look like, and you'll note that the screws back here are even smaller, and so that is actually where this other smaller tip comes into play. In case you don't have small screws to put in the battery, they provided that, which is nice of them. Also, over here, I've looked through the instruction manual, and they did a really good job laying all of this out and putting step-by-step instructions, well illustrated. Yeah, good job on the instructions. So now I'm over to this key fob section, and I'm going to get the key fob programmed. Well, look at that. I took the back off, and it already has a battery in there. So I guess the batteries are just extras, so that's nice. I'm going to go ahead and get these programmed now. So this is what it looks like to program the key fob. Right here it says fob learn, and they said to use a paper clip, but I found that the tip of the smaller end of the Phillips head that they sent works. So you put that right there, and then on the key fob I'm pressing the lock button. So I'm going to press both at the same time, and just like that, it's programmed. And you can see it came out unlocked, and now I'm going to press the unlock button, and it unlocks. Really, really simple. And then here on the key fob, it has the black, which is lock and unlock here, and then the orange, if you had 2 doors with both of these Ristow locks on them, you'd be able to lock or unlock either door with 1 key fob. And then because it comes with 2 key fobs, you have potentially his and hers, right, on the keychains, and you can each get into either door of the RV, no problem. To program the outside key code, first you press 8 and hold it down, and then you press the lock button, and then the keys start flashing. I don't know how well you can see that. And then you type in the default code, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then press lock. And then now it's in programming mode. So then you type in the code that you want, which is up to 8 characters, and then you press lock, and then you type it in again and press lock again. And then it beeps and it's ready to go, and then press the unlock button. And now I can get in, it works just fine. And then to lock it, you can just press the lock button, hold it down, and there it goes, it's locked now. And that's the deadbolt that's locked. If you want to lock the actual release mechanism, then you have to use the key for that. The deadbolt is the only part of it that is electronically controlled. Overall, this was very simple to install. It's not the easiest thing I've ever done, considering when I installed the LevelMate Pro, which I'll put a card above to that, that was probably the easiest thing I've ever installed on this trailer. But this tied probably with how easy the steps were to install from TorqueLift, which I'll put a card to above as well for those steps. Both of those were really easy, and this is the third thing that I've done that was extremely easy to install. So I'll put a link in the description below to this product if you're interested in picking it up and installing it on your own RV. If you don't already have a keyless entry system with either key code or key fob, I highly recommend you getting one because they are way better than using keys. With that, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.